ecstatic chanting. I would like to recite the six Ashtakam prayers. Cheto darpanamarchanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam Shreyak kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavado jeevanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam punamritaswadanam Sarvatmastapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam नाम नामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिस् तत्रापि नियमिते स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृश इह जनानुराग त्रिनादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तन्य सदा हरि न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवता भक्तिरहेतुकी त्वयि आनन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितां वां विषमे भवाम्बुधो कृपया तव पादपङ्कजस्थितधूलि सदृशं विचिञ्चयाम् नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदहृदया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपुकद तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमीषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे आश्लस्य वा पादरतं पिनस्तु माम् आदर्शनं मर्महतं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापराम् Translation to this 8 verses. Glories to Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for the years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtana movement is a prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living being. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us easily approach you by your holy name. But I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor here. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the autumn at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love falling constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hair of my body stand on the end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrent of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in your world, in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord unconditionally. Now I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy name which are to be avoided, written by Srila Vyasadeva in Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or to be independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the order of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activity Karmakanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have a complete faith in chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Let us move on to our next part of the session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. Before that, may I know who all joined this morning?
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीतिदासी फ्रॉम शार्लोट हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna Preeti Mataji, please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call.
हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय दिस इज अरविंद दास फ्रॉम शिकागो हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna Arvindaksha Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for joining every day, giving your association. Welcome to the call.
हरे कृष्ण विनीता कंदरिका माता जी प्लीज एक्सेप्ट माय हम्बल विशेषेस टू यू एंड ऑल द डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू प्रभुपाद ऑल ग्लोरीज टू गुरु महाराज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotee. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna Mata, my humble obeisance to all the devotees. Srila Prabhupada. This is Venugopal from Atlanta.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
From
please accept.
Atlanta.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for joining. Welcome to the call. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karuna Devi Dasi. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your beautiful services all the time, every day. Hare Krishna, very grateful to you.
Hare Krishna Indulekha Karuna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call. Thank you for your services every single day, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Introduction seems to be a little big, Mataji. Shall I start the recording if nobody is introducing themselves? Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? We have a couple more minutes. Okay. So let me start the recording. Sunil Prabhu, are you ready? Yeah, okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Apurva Gopal Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 9th chapter, 44th verse. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I request Sunil Prabhu to take over here and give a brief introduction of today's speaker. Over to you, Prabhu. Haribol.
Hare Krishna Mataji. His Grace Apurva Gopal Prabhu serves as a monk at ISKCON Varanasi, where Prabhuji coordinates youth outreach for the ISKCON Youth Forum IYF and is actively mentoring students at IIT, BHU, and BHU. He also coordinates the Youth Futures podcast of the ISKCON Youth Council IIYC. Prabhuji came to Krishna consciousness in 2013. Prabhuji has received Harinam initiation from His Holiness Bhakti Chao Swami Maharaj in 2018 on the day of Vidya Dashami. Prabhuji formally joined the Brahmachari Ashram in 2022 and he received Brahman initiation from His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2024. Prabhuji academically holds Bhakti Shastra degree and currently pursuing Bhakti Vaibhav course. And Prabhuji's academic background is BTech in Computer Science and Engineering, IIT BHU. He is a meritless scholar, UP Board, from the UP Board High School and Intermediate Examinations. Prabhuji has worked in intern Samsung and R&D Institute India, Bangalore, and software development engineer at Bangalore. Currently, Prabhuji has delivered so many spiritual base and spiritual sessions to students of leading institutions across India, including IIT BHU, IIT Madras, MNIT Allahabad, IIT Allahabad, NIT Surthkal, NIT Warangal, PESIT Bangalore, SRM China. Prabhuji has also conducted various sessions for corporate audiences in Bangalore. Thank you so much, Mataji. Over to you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for that introduction. I think Prabhuji is on the call. Hare Krishna, Apurva Gopal Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for joining this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 9th chapter. One second, the verse number I forgot. 9th
44th.
canto, 9th chapter, 44th verse. Yes, Prabhu, over to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji, for giving us this opportunity to share something from Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Mataji, generally, how do we go ahead? So, do
Yeah,
we have verse
Prabhuji.
citations?
Yes, you can share your screen, Prabhuji. You have a rights, and then you start with the prayers, read the verse and the translation and purport, Prabhuji. We will be on mute because it's a Zoom. We can't do it together.
Okay.
Of course, we will be doing on it mute. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sure.
If you want to start with Jai Radha Madhav or anything, feel free to do that. Hare Krishna. 1 hour
Hare
class and then question and answers. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, it's my good fortune to receive this opportunity to share something from the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. So today the verse which we are going to discuss is 9th canto, 9th chapter, 44th verse. So let's begin with the recitation of this verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha नाबाल्येऽपि मतिर्मह्यम् अधर्मे रमते क्वचित् नापश्यम् उत्तमश्लोकात् अन्यत् किञ्चन वस्त्वहम् नाबाल्ये अपि मतिर्मह्यम् अधर्मे रमते क्वचित् नापश्यम् उत्तमश्लोकात् अन्यत् किञ्चन वस्त्वहम्. So, word to word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Na, not, balye, in childhood, api, indeed, matihi, attraction, mahiyam, of me, adharme, in irreligious principles, ramate, enjoys, kvachit, at any time, na, not, apashyam, I saw, uttam shlokat, then the personality of Godhead, anyat, anything else, kinchana, anything, vastu, substance, aham, I. Translation. I was never attracted, even in my childhood, by insignificant things or irreligious principles. I did not find anything more substantial than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. Maharaj Khatwanga provides a typical example of a Krishna conscious person. A Krishna conscious person does not see anything to be important but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nor does he accept anything within this material world as being unconnected to the Supreme Lord. As stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sthavara Jangama dekhe na dekhe tara murti sarvatra haya nija ishta deva is furti. The Mahabhagavata, the advanced devotee, certainly sees everything mobile and immobile, but he does not exactly see their forms. Rather, everywhere he immediately sees manifest the form of the Supreme Lord. Although a devotee is within the material world, he has no connection with it. nirbandha Krishna sambandhe. He accepts this material world in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee may be engaged in earning money, but he uses that money for propagating the Krishna consciousness movement by constructing large temples and establishing worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Khatwang Maharaj, therefore, was not a materialist. A materialist is always attached to wife, children, home, property, and many other things for sense gratification. But as stated above, Khatwang Maharaj was not attached to such things, nor could he think of anything existing without the purpose of the Supreme Lord. Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam. Ishopanishad Mantra 1. Everything is related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, this consciousness is not for the ordinary person, but if one takes to the path of devotional service as prescribed in the nectar of devotion, he can be trained in this consciousness and attain perfect understanding. For a Krishna conscious person, nothing is palatable without a relationship with Krishna. होमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्दे अहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतश्वे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशः गोपिका कान्तः राधा कान्तः नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं। कथञ्चनं विस्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्यं नमामि तं। यो अन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयति अखिलशक्तिधरा स्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणात्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। Hare Krishna. So I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, so that if it so pleases Srimad Bhagavatam and their Lordship Shri Shri Radha Gopal Ji, so may they bless myself and so that may my words be empowered to speak everything in line with Parampara in the glorification of the Lord, and may the service be pleasing to the Lordships and all the Vaishnavas present, and may this glorification purify my heart. So today the verse which we are discussing, it's a very amazing, beautiful verse, and which talks about Maharaj Khatwanga. So this Maharaj Khatwanga, so his mention is also there in the second canto. So where Shukadeva Goswami mentions how this Khatwang Maharaj, so within one moment, he just perfected his life. So, so there is one small, very famous clip of Srila Prabhupada, where one devotee is asking question to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, how much time does it take to go back to Godhead? So Prabhupada, before that devotee even completes his question, Prabhupada says, one moment. And then Prabhupada repeats, one moment. And then Prabhupada says, ki, are you not reading Bhagavad Gita? Krishna says, if you surrender unto me, so aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayami ma shucha. Immediately it can happen. So Prabhupada, so based upon this confidence, Srila Prabhupada, he's telling ki, all that is important is our intensity, how intensely we are practicing bhakti, and throughout life, how intensely we have cultivated that devotional service, that remembrance, that attitude of seva, that attachment for Sri Krishna. So in our today's discussion, we will try to see around 4 themes. So first we'll see this example of Khatwang Maharaj, and how in the shloka it was mentioned that Khatwang Maharaj, so since his childhood, he was not interested in anything other than Krishna. He did not see anything else of value. So we'll discuss about Khatwang Maharaj, his brilliant example. And then we'll see many other examples from scriptures of devotees. So whose character was like that of Khatwang Maharaj, and since their childhood, they also practice bhakti. So we'll be discussing about importance of getting Krishna conscious inputs since the early years in our life. So the second thing which we will see is we will discuss about this theme of Mahabhagavata. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are certain verses, as one of the verses which was mentioned over here. स्थावर जंगम देखी ना देखी देखा है तारा मूर्ति सर्वत स्फुराय तार इष्ट देव स्फूर्ति. And then Bhagavatam 11th canto 2nd chapter also very beautifully gives 9 verses as a description of a Mahabhagavata, Uttam Adhikari. So we'll discuss about who is a Mahabhagavata. The third thing which we'll be seeing is that we'll discuss about how one can reach that stage of being a Mahabhagavata, how one can really advance in his spiritual life. And then the fourth thing which we'll try to see is we'll see multiple examples from the life of Srila Prabhupada, and how Srila Prabhupada, he was a brilliant example of a Mahabhagavata. So let us see. The first thing, let's try to discuss something about Khatwang Maharaj. So this Khatwang Maharaj, as the pastime goes, Khatwang Maharaj was very brilliant in military sciences. So he was a very wonderful warrior. And that was the reason one time when demigods, they were facing difficulty in fighting with a particular asura. So, so at that point of time, they requested the help of Khatwang Maharaj. So Khatwang Maharaj was a king. Actually, Lord Ramchandra also came in the dynasty of Khatwang Maharaj. So Khatwang Maharaj was Suryavanshi, and then he was very famous, so he was requested. And Khatwang Maharaj, because he saw these demigods, so they are the Adhikari Jivas. So they are the appointed living entities to take care of, to administer the affairs of the universe. So they are living entities who have some credits of devotional service. They have devotion also in their heart, and at the same time, they also have a desire to rule in this world, control this world. So such kind of living entities, they are given their roles of demigods. So nonetheless, they are devotees of the Lord, because the primary desire within their heart is that we want to serve Krishna. So if someone wants to appoint someone on a very responsible position, so he cannot do so unless that person trusts that particular individual. So because Krishna trusts these demigods, so that's why he has given them the positions of Adhikar. He has made them Adhikari Jivas. So Khatwang Maharaj saw that they are devotees of the Lord, and it's wonderful opportunity for me to assist them. So if I assist them, so the Vishnu Bhakta is Prato Deva, Asura Sad Viparya. So Asuras are always opposed to the cause of Supreme Lord, and Devatas are always in favor of the cause of Supreme Lord. So he thought to assist the Devatas so that the cause of Supreme Lord can be pushed forward and the whole world will be peaceful and people will be able to engage in devotional service. So he fought very valiantly. He defeated this Asura and his associates. And when the war was over, demigods were very happy. So demigods asked him, Ki, my dear Khatwang Maharaj, we are so happy with your help. Can you please tell us how can we serve you? What can we do for you as a favor? So Khatwang Maharaj, he contemplated, he saw the wonderful opulence of heavenly planets, the Nandankanan gardens, and brilliant, wonderful fruit-giving trees, and wonderful music, wonderful apsaras, wonderful palatial buildings. He saw all of that. But still, he could see that all of these things are temporary. Another thing which he reflected was, despite having all these things, so these people, demigods, although they are devotees of the Lord, but they are not able to do the most important thing in their life. The most important thing in their life is to remember Krishna, to be able to serve Krishna, to be able to develop one's loving attachment for Krishna. So when Prabhupada asked, what is the sign of a real religion? So Prabhupada said the test of a real religion is that if one is able to develop love for God. So dharma sunishchita pumsam vikshuksena kathasuya notpadayed yadi ratim shama eva hi kevalam. So even if someone tries to perform his duties in this world very, very nicely, so but if that execution of one's duties, that performance of one's karma, if it does not lead to development of taste in bhakti, so shama eva hi kevalam. So it is only and only labor. So interestingly, in this verse, Bhagavatam uses three words: eva, he, kevalam. So eva means certainly, he means only, and kevalam means definitely. Certainly, only, definitely. So that means so much emphasis there. It is only useless labor. It was I mean, your time got wasted. Bhagavatam is saying that because Bhagavatam is only glorifying pure devotional service. In comparison to pure devotional service, if someone is not able to practice pure work, someone is not able to cultivate that love for Krishna. So Bhagavatam says that performance of that activity does not contribute anything for the eternal life of that person. So Khatwang Maharaj saw this, and his conclusion was that I don't want what these people have, because if I get that, so instead of remembering Krishna, I will end up forgetting Krishna. So his compass of life was clear. So his compass was fixed. I want to love Krishna, I want to serve Krishna, I want to perfect my life. So although he was a king, so he was a Rajarshi. So Rajarshi means he was a Raja, at the same time he was a Rishi. So Raja represents he had material competence. He was very, very competent, talented when it comes to his material skills and accolades. So he was extremely qualified as a king. But he was not just a king, but he also had a spiritual vision. He was a Rajarshi. Rajarshi means one who has material competence as well as one who has spiritual vision. So this Maharaj Khatwanga, so he said, I don't want this. So he immediately asked, because he just reflected that he has come from earth to heavens, and 6 months of the earth, they are equivalent to 12 hours of the heaven. Similarly, the another 6 months, they are equivalent to the 12 hours of the night of the heaven. So he thought I have spent so many days over here fighting. So that means hundreds of years must have passed by this time. So he was very curious. So immediately asked, he just asked one question. He said, can you please tell me how much time is remaining? And immediately the demigods, they replied, my dear king, only one muhurta is remaining in your life. So one muhurta means 48 minutes. And as soon as he heard this, he immediately left Swargaloka, he came to earth, and he immediately, aligned his consciousness. So he focused his consciousness upon Krishna. Like Bhishma Pitama, about in first canto 9th chapter, it comes about Bhishma Pitama. That Bhishma Pitama at the time of his departure, so he stopped, all of his sensory activities, and he completely focused all of his attention on the remembrance of Krishna, who was personally standing right in front of him. So Khatwang Maharaj also did the same thing and he perfected his life. So this is such a brilliant example. So he did his duties in this world also very nicely, but at the same time, he did not deviate from his eternal goal. So in our life, so there are needs and then there are goals. So for example, if someone is going from one place to another, so I mean, let us say someone is going from one city to another city. So we stay in Varanasi in Prayagraj. So let us say someone is traveling from Varanasi to Prayagraj in a train. So on the way to Prayagraj, let us say if someone feels thirsty and he finds there's some distilled nice water which is available outside in the form of water bottles. He gets down and then he becomes so consumed in purchasing the water bottles that he even forgets to be watchful of the departure of the train. So the train leaves and then he gets to know, oh my God, the train has left. So that means that this person had a need to drink the water, but he did not care for his ultimate goal. His ultimate goal was to go to Prayagraj, but because he got so much busy with fulfilling his needs, so that like so much so that he missed his ultimate goal. So similarly, in our life, the goal is going back to spiritual world. The goal is to, one day attain the platform of selfless, loving devotional service, uninterrupted devotional service to Supreme Personality of Godhead. And and the needs are like we have different duties connected to this body. So we have to take care of those duties. So they are our needs. But at the same time, while carrying out our responsibilities for fulfilling those needs, we should not forget our ultimate responsibility to fulfill our goal. That goal is to go towards Krishna. So this is what is Khatwang Maharaj teaching. And how could Khatwang Maharaj do this? As he is telling, he is giving himself the clue that since his childhood he was not interested in anything other than Krishna. So probably because he was coming in a very nice lineage of Rajarshis, he would have received very good training, very good upbringing he would have received from his family members, his parents and all, from his teachers. So that's how uh, Khatwang Maharaj would have developed this kind of inspiration, this kind of devotion, this kind of disposition in his life, which is very amazing, extremely amazing. So in scriptures, we have the example of personalities like Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj, he started practicing devotional service. So when he was in the womb of his mother, so he started practicing bhakti from that age. And we have example of Parikshit Maharaj. So Parikshit, when he was in the womb of his mother, we all know that Ashwathama. So Ashwathama sent his Brahmastra, and this Brahmastra was about to burn the body of this embryo. And at that point of time, Uttara, she requested Lord Krishna to protect. So Krishna, Krishna Mahayogin, Deva Deva Jagatpate, Nayam tam Tvad Abhayam Pashe, Yatra Mastyus Parasparam. He says that the death is inevitable, the death is approaching fast in the form of this Brahmastra who is going to abort my embryo. So she said, my dear Lord, please, you can allow me to kill, me to get killed, but please save my embryo. Because she knew that her embryo was the last child of the Pandu dynasty, Pandavas. So her embryo was the descendant of Pandavas. And she knew he is going to be the next Rajarshi. And she also knew that her embryo, because so he was coming in the line of great pure devotees. Pancha Pandavas, Draupadi, Subhadra, Kunti, all such great souls. So uncle as Vidura, great grandfather as Bhishma, and even Abhimanyu and Uttara, they were also great souls, very cultured character personalities. So she knew that it's very important to protect the seed of Pandu dynasty which was there in her womb. So she requested Krishna. And Krishna, who was there in the heart as Paramatma. So that Krishna only went to protect Angullamashta, Angushtamatra. So he was only of the size of a thumb. So this child who was there in the womb, the embryo, he saw this Brahmastra coming and was trying to burn his body. And then suddenly he saw Krishna. Krishna came, was four-handed, was a beautiful form and a beautiful lotus-like blooming eyes. He was wearing a pitambara and he had Shankachakra Gada Padma and he was wearing a forest garland and he was wearing a helmet, mukut. He was so attractive. This boy, baby, he saw Krishna within the womb and Krishna using Sudarshan Chakra, he foiled the influence of this Brahmastra. The Brahmastra's influence was nullified. And then what followed next was the child Parikshit was saved. And when Parikshit was born, so how did he get this Parikshit? Because he was always examining. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary he says that this Parikshit was always examining whomsoever he would see, so he would immediately consider, was this the person whom I saw in the womb of my mother? So because he was always doing examination, because he was always doing pariksha, so therefore he was given the name Parikshita. So he was always doing pariksha, examination. Is this Krishna or is this something other than Krishna? Is this Krishna or is this Maya? So like that, like Parikshit, the devotee also could constantly do pariksha. So is this thing going to take me closer to Krishna or is this thing going to take me away from Krishna? You can see in the case of Khatwang Maharaj also. So he also did not consider anything of value other than Supreme Lord. And he could see everything in connection with Supreme Lord. So, so he saw that when things are seen in connection with Supreme Lord, then they are of value. And if things are seen disconnected from Supreme Lord, then those same things become the cause of entanglement. So Brahmaji says, Rite artham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmana, tad vidyādatmana mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamah. Rite artham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmana. So if someone considers something to be substantial without seeing its connection with Krishna, that vision, that conception of seeing things, seeing people, seeing situation disconnected from Krishna, that conception itself is the cause of Maya. So Parikshit, so he would go like this. He would crawl and he would catch hold of the lotus feet of different personalities in his house, and then he would look up and he would say, "Oh, was this the person whom I saw in the womb of my mother?" And finally, his pariksha got over. So when he was a very small child, probably 2.5 years old, so that time he just caught hold of the lotus feet of uh, Lord Krishna, who had come for one of the ceremony to the house of Pandavas. And then Parikshit saw the beautiful lotus-like face of Krishna, and Parikshit's examination, the pariksha was over. Then he concluded, yes, this was the person. This Lord Krishna had come in the womb of my mother and he had protected me. So we have example of Parikshit Maharaj. We also have example of Srila Jiva Goswami. So Jiva Goswami also, the description comes in our Vaishnava scripture that Jiva Goswami, since his childhood, he was not interested in anything material at all. In fact, his only game was he had a deities of Krishna and Balaram. So his only play was to worship those deities of Krishna and Balaram. That's all. And one day, this Krishna and Balaram, they had appeared in his dream. They transformed into Gaur Nitai. They placed their lotus feet on the head of Jiva Goswami. And then they inspired him that because he was feeling so much separation. So when Rupa Sanatan, they had surrendered to Lord Chaitanya and Ramkeli, little Jiva also had followed. Because he saw his father Anupam and his uncles, so Rupa Sanatan. So they were going secretly somewhere in the night. So he also followed. And these three brothers, they surrendered to Lord Chaitanya, but Jiva, he also got to see the beautiful form of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and their associates. And he gave his heart to Shri Gaur Nitai. And later on, Shri Krishna Balaram revealed to him that we are not different from Shri Gaur Nitai. And eventually, his fire of eagerness, separation from Gaur Nitai increased so much that he, on the pretext of going somewhere out, he actually left his house and he went to Navadip, and there he was given a tour by Lord Nityananda himself, and Lord Nityananda directed him. He wanted to go to Jagannath Puri, to get the association of Lord Chaitanya, but Lord Nityananda said no. So Lord Chaitanya has given Vrindavan and in inheritance to your uncles Rupa and Sanatan. You should go to Vrindavan, you should serve them, you should assist them, and you should take the Gaudiya Vaishnavism ahead. So you can see that Jiva Goswami also was very brilliant since his childhood. So similarly, we have examples of Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. So both of them, they had devotee parents and very wonderful training. Both of them they received, and they both were very fortunate. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami lived here only in Varanasi, and Gopal Bhatta Goswami in Sri Rangam. So both of them, they had a good fortune of serving Lord Chaitanya so long. And they got the opportunity to associate with him, serve him, massage his lotus feet. So this impression, and Lord Chaitanya personally recruited them. He could see that they would be the leaders of the movement. He included them in the band of the six Goswamis, as Srila Prabhupada would say. Similarly, Bhagavatam third canto gives a description of Uddhavji's beautiful quality. Uddhava also, since his childhood, he was not interested in anything mundane, only interested in Krishna. In fact, description comes like as an explanation from Shastra and teachings of Acharyas. This description comes that Uddhava, he was so absorbed in Krishna that so even his body's complexion also was that of Krishna's complexion because he was so absorbed in Krishna. So in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, there is one of the guru which Avanti Brahmana has a wasp because the wasp constantly thinks about the insect which comes to sting it. So because he's constantly meditating upon that insect who is coming to bite it. So eventually he also becomes like that insect. So Bhagavatam says ki whatever catches our attention, whatever becomes the object of our contemplation, we eventually become like that. Our subtle bodies, they get molded like that. And gross body is nothing but the precipitate of the subtle body. So we have example of Uddhavji. So Uddhavji, so he would not, he would always wear, eat, or wear garlands, everything, whatever he would do, it was always the Mahaprasad of Krishna. Krishna every day, he would wear one new dress. And Uddhavaji also would wear one new dress every day, which would be like previous accepted dress of Krishna. So he would always accept the Mahaprasad of Krishna. He says in 11th canto, Tayopabrukta Sadbandha, Vasaha Lankara Charchate. So finally he says, Tava Mayam Jayamahi, by accepting uh, the ornaments, the garlands, the remnants of your food. So we will certainly be able to conquer the illusory energy. So this is the confidence of our Sri Uddhava. And we can even see this example of Srinivas Acharya. So Srinivas Acharya's father was Gangadhar Bhattacharya. So this Gangadhar Bhattacharya, he used to live in a place in Navadip. And so one time what happened, he was going from his place to another place. He went through this place called Kantak Nagar, which is Katwa. And he got to know that the famous Nimai Pandit of Navadip, he is going to take sannyas. And when he went there, he saw that this Madhu, this barber, he was actually shaving the head of Lord Chaitanya. And then when he saw the sight, he became so much emotionally overwhelmed by seeing the beauty of Lord Chaitanya and how Lord Chaitanya's hairs were being, removed. And then he saw this Keshav Bharati Maharaj giving him the sannyas mantra and finally announcing in front of everyone that your name will be Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So by your presence, by your devotional service, you will spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And when he heard this, so he was just speaking Chaitanya, 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 Chaitanya. And when he returned back to his home, so there also he was constantly doing Chaitanya, 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 Chaitanya. And finally, people gave his name as Chaitanya Das. So that's how this Gangadhar Bhattacharya became Chaitanya Das. And this Chaitanya Das, so his wife was also very elevated Vaishnavi. So one time they didn't have any desire to, enjoy any kind of material thing in their life, not at all. But somehow once they developed a desire, we want to have a kid. And they thought, is it a material desire? So, but then both of them, they thought ki both of us simultaneously we are having this desire, and this desire has never have come before. So, what should we do? So then they decided that we should go to Lord Chaitanya in Navadip Dham. They went to Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya blessed them. And Lord Chaitanya told them, yes, it's my desire that you beget a child. And your child will be a very great Acharya of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. And that child became Srinivas Acharya. So this great Srinivas Acharya, since his childhood, he was hearing the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya from his father, Chaitanya Das, Gangadhar Bhattacharya. And that's how he grew up. And when he grew up, he was so mad after Lord Chaitanya. We know that incident. He went to meet Lord Chaitanya to Jagannath Puri. And when he reached there, he got to know Lord Chaitanya has departed. He was crying. He thought to leave his body. And Lord Chaitanya told him, you go and study Bhagavatam from Gadadhar Pandit. He is non-different from me. He goes to meet Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit embraces him and he requests that he please teach me Bhagavatam. So the Bhagavatam of Gadadhar Pandit didn't have anything written over it. Everything was washed up because of the tears of Gaur Gadadhar. So Gadadhar Pandit says, you please go and you please get some copy of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he goes and he gets a copy somewhere in Navadip in Bengal. When he again returns back, he gets to know Gadadhar Pandit has left. Then, like that, he is finally sent to Gadadhar Pandit and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tell him that you go to Vrindavan Dham and you associate with Rupa Sanatan. They are non-different from me. And when he goes, he just reaches Vrindavan, he gets to know Rupa Sanatan have already departed. And then Rupa Sanatan, they come to his dream when he was crying. They gave him a vision and they say, Ki, we want you to take Shiksha from Jiva Goswami and Diksha from Gopal Bhatta Goswami. They are non-different from us. And that's how he gets initiated by Gopal Bhatta Goswami and he gets training from Jiva Goswami. And even Raghunath Das Goswami, Narottam Das Thakur, they also have histories of Raghunath Das Goswami in his childhood, he got a lot of association of Haridas Thakur. And he said, I want what this person has. This person has the wealth which even my parents also don't have. His parents were very, very wealthy. Hiranya Majumdar, Govardhan Majumdar, his father and uncle, they were extremely wealthy. But he was not at all attracted to their wealth. He got attracted to the wealth of Haridas Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur also, he would get the association of personality named Krishna Das. And he would hear a lot of Gaur Leela from him. That's how he also became mad after Lord Chaitanya. So it's so important to give right kind of inputs to a person since his early years in his life. And even when we see when some young person comes to Krishna consciousness, the kind of inputs, spiritual inputs, the kind of culture which is offered in the early years, so that becomes a deciding factor in his life. The kind of habits which he creates in Krishna consciousness in the early years, the habit of respect, the habit of strong sadhana, the habit of valuing the association of devotees, the habit and disposition of, valuing deities at the center of one's life, one's home, one's temple. So someone is able to get this kind of values, then that person is very, very fortunate. So you can see this from the example of Khatwang Maharaj and many such Vaishnavas, whom a good example we see. Now, the second thing which we wanted to discuss about was Mahabhagavata. Who is a Mahabhagavata? So, Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam describes in 11th canto, there is a description about 3 types of devotees: Kanishthadikari, Madhyamadikari, Uttamadikari. So, Kanishthadikari means Archayaiva yad hare Shraddhayam ya pujayate nacha tad bhakteshu anneshu sa bhakta prakrata hai. So, this kind of devotee, he only values the deity in the temple, or at max, he may value his guru, but he does not give value to other devotees and other living entities. So such a person, because he does not know the value of Vaishnavas, so he is known as a Prakrita Bhakta or a materialistic devotee. Because the gradation of this devotional service of people is, you can see that this is based upon how much a person is able to value Lord and people in connection with Lord. How much respect a person has for Lord, how much conscious a person has is of Lord and Lord's expansions, his associates and paraphernalia and his energies. So the Kanishta Adhikari, he just thinks that God is there only in the temple. That's all. And at max, he may consider that, okay, God has one more, he has one representative, he is my guru. So guru is very great and God is very great. That's all. And I'm not concerned about others. So this is Kanishta mentality. So higher than that is Madhyama mentality, Madhyama mentality, Madhyama Adhikari. So Ishware tadadhineshu balisheshu dushatsu cha prema maitri kripa upeksha yaha karoti sa madhyama. So Ishware, so this Madhyama Adhikari, he has four kind of dispositions for four types of personalities. Ishwara tadadhineshu. So those who are adhina, subordinate to Ishwaras. Balisheshu, those are innocent non-devotees, and Dushatsu, those who are envious non-devotees. So with this kind of four individuals, he has four kinds of disposition and attitude for them. So for Ishvara, he has prema, he loves Krishna, or he is aspiring to love Krishna. He is aspiring to develop attachment for Krishna. Maitri. So Maitri means he does friendship with devotees because he knows that these devotees are very dear to Krishna. And if I want to become dear to Krishna, I have to become dear to them. I have to serve. So let me associate with them, let me befriend them so that I can also swiftly advance. Just like, sometimes if two people they want to succeed in business, so they may associate with each other and then they can work together, they can collaborate and they can think about how to become more financially stable, successful, and how to take the business ahead. So two students in a classroom, so if they want to succeed in their exams, so then they may come together and if both of them they are studious, quite meritorious, so their association will strengthen their potency. It will give them more and more energy. Even if there are two drunkards also. So when two drunkards come together, so their association intoxicates each other further. And then, they become more and more intoxicated. They get into more and more drinking by that. So similarly, if someone wants to become a Bhagavat Sangi, someone wants to become attached to Krishna, he has to associate and befriend those who have that kind of attachment for Krishna or who are looking for that kind of attachment for Krishna. So Maitri, Kripa. So when he sees the innocent non-devotees, those who are non-devotees, but they are not envious, those who are not critical. So such people, he gives them his mercy. He shows compassion. How? By enlightening them about Krishna, by engaging them in seva, Krishna seva, so that they can also receive Krishna's mercy. They can become aware of their identity. They can become aware of the goal. They can become aware of the sadhana process. And then upeksha. And he also serves the envious people by upeksha, by keeping a safe distance from them. Because if one tries to preach an envious person, his envy will increase further. So by his envy, he will become more critical and blasphemous of Krishna, Krishna's devotees and the devotional service and the movement. So by that, instead of coming closer to Krishna, he will go away from Krishna. So the best service to an envious person is to remain away from him, to not preach to him, to keep a safe distance. But at the same time, one can definitely offer prayers for such a person. So, so these four are the attitudes of a Madhyama Adhikari. And Uttama Adhikari, who is the Uttama Adhikari? So 11th canto almost gives 9 shlokas. So Sarva Bhuteshu Ya Pashyat Bhagavad Bhavamatmana Bhutani Bhagavati Atmana Sa Vaya Bhagavatottama. He says one who sees super soul within every living entity, the soul of all souls, and one who sees every person in connection with that super soul, one who sees everything in connection with that super soul, one who sees how everyone is situated, everyone is existing in that super soul. Such a person is a Mahabhagavata. And when some objects of sense gratification come in his life, so grahitvan api indriyan artha na hrishyati na cha shoshyati. So Vishnu maya midam pashyam sava bhagavatottama. So when he sees some sense objects, so he sees them as Vishnu maya, he sees them as energy of Lord Vishnu. And neither he becomes very elated, oh my, amazing, such an amazing opportunity to enjoy. Or nor he becomes depressed. Array, what to do? Now this obstacle of sense gratification has come. So I hate such opportunities. I hate such things. So generally the tyagis, they dvishyati. So they have a little kind of critical attitude towards this material world. They see it as Maya. So and it should be rejected. They have an attitude of rejection. And bhogis, they have an attitude of exploitation. So a pure devotee, he does not have bhogavancha, he does not have mukti vancha or tyaga vancha. He only has bhakti vancha. He wants to serve Krishna. So he sees people and he thinks, oh, how can I engage them in Krishna service? And he sees things and he feels, oh, how can I engage them in Krishna service? Okay. So in order to explain this, I was just thinking the life of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So such an exemplary life. So Srila Prabhupada, so like one time, different times, different interviewers question Srila Prabhupada asking, have you seen God? So Prabhupada, sometimes he would say, ki, even if I tell you, will you understand? Sometimes Prabhupada would say, ki, okay, I have seen God. So if I tell you that I have seen God, what will you understand? You know what is God? You know what is the conception of God? That person will say, no, I don't know. Then Prabhupada says, okay, then you listen attentively what I am telling you. You follow the process, then one day you will also be able to see God. And one time one person was asking Srila Prabhupada, have you seen God? So Prabhupada, so he thought, even if I tell this person I have seen God, how is he going to get benefited? So he was asking, have you seen God? So Prabhupada would start telling him, you know, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you are not a body or a spirit soul. And the soul is eternal, the body is temporary. Then he was like, Swamiji, I think you didn't understand my question. So my question was, have you seen God? So then Prabhupada said that the soul is part and parcel of God. The God is all attractive. Ishada Aishwarya Puna. Aishwarya Samagrasya Viryasya Ishirasriya. He is Bhagavan. Bhagavan means the six opulence, beauty, wealth, knowledge, strength, fame, and renunciation. Then he said, wait a minute, Swamiji. I think you didn't understand my question. This was not my question. My question was, have you seen God? So then Prabhupada said, the goal of life is to become attracted to the Supreme Lord. The goal of life is to purify our heart and to go back to Godhead. So, Swamiji, that was not my question. My question was, have you seen God? And Prabhupada said, yes, I have seen God. When? When was the first time when you remember seeing God? Prabhupada smiled. Prabhupada said, 4 years. So, of course, Srila Prabhupada is a Nitya Siddha. We can see from the life of Prabhupada, so how much Krishna conscious he was. And he was very fortunate to have received the association of Gaur Mohan De, his father. Prabhupada said that Gaur Mohan De, his father, was a pure Vaishnava. And similarly, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the Vimala Prasad, his father was none other than Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So both of these acharyas, they are very, very glorious, and they credit this tendency, this attitude of their becoming Krishna conscious. They give a lot of credit to their parents, their father, their fathers, Gaur Mohan De and Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So Srila Prabhupada, when he grew up, you can see in the life of Srila Prabhupada how Prabhupada he manifested these qualities of a Mahabhagavata. So Mahabhagavata, because he is able to see everything in connection with Krishna. He does not desire to enjoy those things for himself. Rather, he wants to engage those things in Krishna service. Like Srila Prabhupada, when he was there in India, so one time we all know in Delhi, Prabhupada was distributing this Back to Godhead magazines. And whatever interaction Prabhupada would have, and so Prabhupada would be so conscious. He would be able to see Krishna is speaking even from the words of apparent non-devotees. Like one time, one person, so he said, who will read your this small magazines and all? You should write a book, publish a book. Then Prabhupada said, yeah, what he's saying is true. So then Prabhupada thought, this is my Guru Maharaj is speaking through this person. My Guru Maharaj is actually giving me inspiration to write books. That was a time because his Guru Maharaj is initially also instructed him, whenever you get money, print books. So he immediately remembered, my Guru Maharaj had given me instruction. So like now this person, through this person, Guru Maharaj is again reminding me. That is the time Prabhupada, he again started focusing upon books. Prabhupada began the journey of writing his commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. And we all know that Prabhupada wrote these two essays also. Easy Journey to Other Planets and then Light of Bhagavat. Okay. So before going to the West. And similarly, when Prabhupada was there in West, so we know that 2 heart attacks Srila Prabhupada got on Jaladuta. And Prabhupada, he writes in his diary that Krishna came in his dream and he could see that Krishna and all the incarnations of Krishna, they were there and they were personally taking the charge of the ship. And Krishna told you, don't worry. So I will personally protect you and I'll take you to America. So Prabhupada told me it was Krishna's desire. Krishna brought me to America. That's what Prabhupada writes in his song also. Markine Bhagavad Dharma. Bodo Kripa Koile Krishna Dhamera Prati. And when Prabhupada received that, he had got a third heart attack when he was in America. So that point of time, doctors told him ki Swamiji, you all just chant and you all just do your spiritual things and all. You should do some movement. You should go for a morning walk. So when Prabhupada heard this, so Prabhupada, he said, yes, what he's saying is correct. So this is Krishna is speaking through this person. He could even see that also in connection with Krishna, because he could see that, oh, this thing will help me in having a better health. If I have a better health, I will be able to better fulfill the order of my Guru Maharaj. I will be able to better preach the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. Prabhupada took that thing so seriously, and since then, every day, so almost every day, Prabhupada would go for morning program whenever it was possible. And we have so many wonderful morning walk conversations also. Our devotees, Prabhupada disciples, we should be so grateful that they recorded this morning walk conversations. Similarly, Prabhupada, so when he was in the West, so he was in San Francisco, so he saw flatbed truck. So before that, what had happened, one time, this is just after Prabhupada installed the deities of Jagannath Baladev Subhadra in New Jagannath Puri, San Francisco. And one time Prabhupada came to temple, he paid obeisances, he saw the deities were missing. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra were not there in the altar. And then suddenly Prabhupada, he saw the sound of Kirtan, he saw his devotees coming in. And then these devotees, one devotee was carrying Jagannath ji, another devotee Balram ji, another devotee Subhadra Maiya. And Prabhupada said, hey, where had you taken them? So they said, Swamiji, we felt ki Jagannath Subhadra, you told they are God, na? So God must be feeling bored in this altar. So we thought we go every day out on beach for Sankirtan. So we took Jagannath Subhadra also for Sankirtan. So Prabhupada said, hey, they are not dolls. You should not take them like this. So when Prabhupada said, we have a procession, we have a special ceremony for it. So Rath Yatra, in India it is called a Rath Yatra. So we should do Rath Yatra. So that was a time Prabhupada, even he saw this incident and he said, oh, probably it is a time to do Rath Yatra. And before that, how did Prabhupada decipher that Lord Jagannath wants to come and be worshipped in ISKCON? We all know that one very senior Srila Prabhupada's glorious Mataji disciple. So she went to one shop and she shoplifted. She picked up, she stole, one deity, one doll from there. And she kept that doll in front of Prabhupada. Prabhupada saw that doll and Prabhupada folded his hands and said, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. And then she asked, Swamiji, who is he? So Prabhupada said, he is God. He is Jagannath. Who Jagannath? So then Prabhupada said, there would be his two other siblings also. So where are they? So then she said, yeah, two other guys were also there, one white one and one yellow one. Prabhupada said, you bring them also. Then this time she went, she paid and she got the other two also. And Prabhupada told, this black one is Jagannath, he's Krishna, and white one is Baladev, and then this yellow one is the sister of Jagannath and Baladev, Lady Subhadra. Then that is the time Prabhupada thought, yes, this is Jagannath's indication that Jagannath wants to come in Hare Krishna. And then we know that Prabhupada engaged Shyam Sundar Prabhu to make the deities of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and that's how the first deities were installed. So Prabhupada was there in the apartment in San Francisco. He was thinking that we have to do Rath Yatra. And then Prabhupada saw a flatbed truck and it was not being used. So Prabhupada immediately could envision, "Arey, this flatbed truck can be used for Jagannath Rath Yatra. How nice it would be." So Prabhupada told his disciples how the rest can be made, and instead of chariot, this it can be driven instead of we. So pulling mechanism was also there, and then this mechanism of driving was also there, and that's how Prabhupada directed all of his devotees how to make the chariot of Lord Jagannath, a makeshift chariot. And that's how the first Rath Yatra was done, and it's how we all know that now Srila Prabhupada started Rath Yatras all over the world. So similarly, one time Prabhupada, he was there in the West, but he was not at all attracted. Not at all attracted. Prabhupada was there in the West, he saw big, big buildings and people enjoying material life, but Prabhupada was not at all attracted. A Mahabhagavata, because he is so much absorbed in Krishna. So he feels, when he sees materialistic people enjoying, he suffers, he feels pain for them. Like His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, in his book, The Journey Home, he recounts this incident of 1971. He was in Vrindavan, and so he was there with a group of Rajavasi Babajis, and there was a radio. So these Babajis, they were discussing the pastimes of Krishna, and they were so ecstatic, they were laughing, and they were singing Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And next moment, they heard from radio how in India-Pakistan war, so many people were getting killed. And next moment, they all were so afflicted by hearing this news how people were suffering. So those people, immediately their hearts were very grief-stricken, those Vaishnavas. And next moment, Maharaj saw, again, they would start discussing about Krishna and again they will become joyful. This is the quality of a Mahabhagavata. Like Lord Nityananda. Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripavaloka Koro Ami Bodo Dukhi. He says ki ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi. So Lord Nityananda is always absorbed in Premananda. And then he says ki because you are absorbed in Premananda, you don't have any distress at all. And I am distressed. And I know you are Patita Pavana. Now, you are Mahavadanyavatar, so Kripa Avatar. You are the personification of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So Kripa Avalokan Karo Ami Bado Dukhi. I am very distressed. You please shower your Kripa upon me. So Mahabhagavata is here simultaneously these two things. Extreme absorption in Krishna, and at the same time, sort of great compassion, seeing the suffering of people in this world, seeing people turned away from Krishna. So Prabhupada also had this kind of vision. And Srila Prabhupada, when he saw just materialistic people in the Western world, so although they had a lot of wealth, they were extremely beautiful, but Prabhupada was not at all attracted. Prabhupada cried for them. We can see Prabhupada's cries in his prayer, Bado Kripa Koile Krishna and Krishna Tava Punya Have Bhai. And in his Prabhupada's lectures also, in his writings also, we can see his urgency, how much he would feel compassionate seeing people suffering, seeing people, having turned their faces away from Krishna. So this is Mahabhagavata. Prabhupada's disciples, they were so beautiful. The Mataji disciples of Prabhupada, they were so beautiful. Prabhupada was not at all attracted. Prabhupada was simply attracted by their devotion. Just like Krishna. Krishna also had so many beautiful queens. But Krishna was not attracted by the beauty of those queens. Krishna was only attracted to the service attitude of those queens. Prabhupada, being the bona fide representative of Sri Krishna, he also had that quality. And Prabhupada did not discriminate who is a man, who is a woman, who is white, who is black, who is American, who is European, who is African, who is Australian, who is Indian, who is Russian. Prabhupada did not discriminate who is Hindu, who is Christian, who is Muslim, who is Jew. Prabhupada did not discriminate who is rich, who is poor. Prabhupada did not discriminate who is powerful and who is powerless. No, Prabhupada could see the spiritual spark, the part and parcel of Krishna in the heart of everyone. Now, the shloka in Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastani Shuni Chaiva Shapake Cha Pandita Samadarshana. A person in knowledge, he sees all living entities equally. Because he sees ki the same type of spirit soul is present everywhere, having different kind of dress, bodily dresses. And he could see ki everybody is needing Krishna. So similarly, Tamal Krishna Maharaj he writes in his book Servant of the Servant. So he had gone to many spiritual gurus, but what attracted to him towards Srila Prabhupada was he and Vishnujan Maharaj. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was very qualified, very talented, very educated. Vishnujan Maharaj was also his friend, but he was not that much into college studies and all. So whenever he would go to any other guru, those gurus would especially take interest in Tamal Krishna Maharaj because he was so well qualified. And Vishnujan Maharaj, they would not pay much interest. But when they went to Prabhupada, Prabhupada does not discriminate at all. Prabhupada saw both of them spiritually. And that's how Tamal Krishna Maharaj decided, he is my guru. I will surrender my lotus feet. So I will surrender my head to his lotus feet. So this was Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada, one time he saw a dustbin. Prabhupada asked his devotees, what do you learn from this? So then the devotees, they were saying different things. When someone said we should garbage in this, and different answers. And Prabhupada, just see Prabhupada's Krishna conscious vision. So Prabhupada said this whole world is like garbage. Krishna's external energy. The whole world should be thrown in this dustbin. The like that Prabhupada would see nature and he would also see the hand of Krishna. One time one drunkard came to Prabhupada and Prabhupada preached to him also. He said, "Do you drink liquor?" He said, "Yes, very much." So Prabhupada said, the essence of that liquor is water. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that the taste of water is nice. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. So he said, next time when you are drinking the liquor, so you actually remember that the taste of the liquor is Krishna. So now this is not meant for us. Prabhupada did this preaching to that drunkard. That drunkard did this. And because he was remembering Krishna, Prabhupada knew the essence. Yaha smareta pundarikaksham saha bhaya abhyantara shuchi. One who remembers the lotus-eyed Lord Pundarikaksha, Lord Krishna, he becomes purified internally and externally. Eventually that hippie actually left drinking. He became pure. He started following bhakti process. So this is Srila Prabhupada. So a pure devotee, he sees the potential in every person, that every person has a potential to become a devotee of Krishna. He sees everyone's relationship with Krishna. He sees that everything can be engaged in Krishna's service. One time one person came to Srila Prabhupada and he said, Swamiji, my Guru Maharaj is so renounced. So when someone offers money to him, he does like this. So Prabhupada told his disciples, you bring lot of dollar notes, you keep those dollar notes in front of me on the table and you click my photo like this and you publish it in the newspaper. And devotees asked, why? So Prabhupada said, you give me as many dollars as possible. So I will take from one hand, then I'll extend other hand also, give me more. Why? Prabhupada said, Hare Krishna is Lakshmipati. All the Lakshmi is Krishna's property. All the Lakshmi should be engaged in his service. So I want more and more for Krishna's service. I'll engage everything in Krishna's service. So this was Prabhupada. Prabhupada really practiced Yugdha Vairagya. And he did not use things for his own sense gratification. He was satisfied everywhere. But like a Mahabhagavata, he used everything in Krishna's service. And another quality of a Mahabhagavata is extreme humility, extreme dainya, which we can see in his prayers. And during his last time, Srila Prabhupada actually exhibited his humility. So when I think it was Bon Maharaj or I think it was Akinchan Krishna's Babaji Maharaj, when they had come to meet Prabhupada. So Prabhupada said, so he said, please forgive me. So I request all of you to forgive me. He even begged forgiveness from his disciples. He said, sometimes I became quite strict, I chastise you. And he said, I beg forgiveness from my God brothers also. Sometimes in order to protect my disciples, I even criticize some of my God brothers also. He said, I am Mahapatita. I am extremely fallen. And he said, there is no hope for me unless Vaishnavas forgive me. So then this Vaishnava, the God brother of Prabhupada who had come to meet Prabhupada, he said, no, Swami Maharaj, you are not Mahapatita. You are Mahapatita Pavana. You are the deliverer of the most fallen living entities. You are the, Senapati Bhakta of Lord Chaitanya. So Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And last, shortly, I'll just share how we can also one day come to this platform of being a Mahabhagavata. So everything begins with a desire. So first thing is whatever we hear about, so those things. So whenever we hear about any person or anything, we get attracted towards that thing. And that attraction leads to attachment. Attachment only leads to absorption. That absorption leads to dedication. So the more and more we hear about the lives of pure devotees, lives of Prabhupada, lives of Prabhupada's disciples, our spiritual masters, the more and more we hear about the lives of acharyas, the more and more we hear about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna, the more our heart will become enchanted by that goal, Prema Pumartho Mahan. So, and the more we become enchanted by the goal, so we will like to work for that goal. And then we'll try to find out, okay, who can help me to go toward that goal? Who has achieved that goal? So then when that happens, so then one will take the association of pure devotees very seriously. Association of Mahabhagavatas very seriously. In Hindi, it is said कि जैसा करोगे संग वैसा चढ़ेगा रंग. So whatever kind of association you take, you will take up that kind of color. So similarly, if we associate with exalted Vaishnavas, advanced Vaishnavas, so naturally they will help us also to become advanced. So they will, smash all of our illusion, our bodily consumption. Dhammam Mahadupasaya. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, it is given in Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava, his biography by His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, that when first time Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he went to meet our Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj, requesting him for initiation. So he was thinking, I have so many qualifications, Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj will notice it and he will give me initiation. So, but when he went, Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj, by his look, Vimala Prasad, he could understand he was not at all interested in all of my material qualifications. So Saraswati Thakur humbly he mentioned later on, that moment I understood that I don't need any of these qualifications. So I want what this person has. This person has taste for Harinam. I want association and shelter of this person. That's how his resolve. If we see this Abhay Charan movie, his own Bhakti Charu Maharaj also very beautifully has described when Vimal Prasad first time he gets rejected, he goes and Bhakti Vinod Thakur asks him, so did you meet Gaur Kishore Das Babaji? He said, I met Babaji and now my resolve to accept him as my Guru Maharaj, it has become reinforced. Now I will take his shelter only. Because he is the one who can give me Krishna. And then under the guidance by the association of these Vaishnavas, when we practice bhakti, so naturally Cheto Darpan Marjanam happens. So the cleansing of the Chitta happens. So the pure Chitta, the pure heart, pure consciousness has a quality called Swachhatvam. So cleanliness. So Vishwanath Thakur says that Swachhatvam means Bhagavata Bimba Grahitvam. The pure Chitta. So in that, one will be able to see Supreme Lord. The more one's heart is cleansed, the more one will be able to find Krishna's hand in one's life. The more one will be able to see Krishna's connection everywhere. The more one will be able to perceive Krishna's presence everywhere. So this word Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Darpana means mirror. So this word Darpana comes from Sanskrit word Darpa. Darpa means ghamand or pride. So by seeing the mirror, the pride and the bodily conception increases. So similarly, the soul also sees in the mirror in the darpana of chitta. And that's how the soul takes up the bodily conception. So this is how Cheto Darpana Mahajana. So when the darpana of our chitta is covered with the dust of false ego, then we are not able to perceive ourselves, our true glory, and we are not able to see our connection with Krishna also. But by the process of hearing and chanting, when that marjanam happens, cleansing happens, so eventually the more the chitta becomes clear, the more we will be able to have Bhagavad Bimba Grahitvam. The more we will be able to experience Krishna's presence in our life. So in this way, so we discussed how. So first we have to hear more and more about Acharyas, Krishna, and we have to develop that attraction. Then we have to associate with advanced devotees, take guidance and instructions from them, how to progress, how to practice sadhana. And then the third thing is, when we practice sadhana, eventually the more the false ego is dissipated by the process of sadhana bhakti done in the mood of Sharanagati. So the more that happens, the more one will start observing and experiencing Krishna's presence in one's life. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So in our today's discussion, we saw four things. First thing was we discussed about Khatwang Maharaj's speciality, and we saw many other examples from Shastras of devotees who were very, very Krishna conscious in their childhood. They were very successful in their life, but they never ever compromise bhakti. And then second theme which we had seen was who is a Mahabhagavata. And then the third theme which we had seen was examples from the life of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, how they were Mahabhagavatas. And then how they could actually see Krishna's connection in this world. And then the fourth thing we saw how we can also develop aspirations and desires for one day achieving this platform. This, I would not say achieve, I would say receive. So we cannot achieve it, we just can receive it by the mercy of Krishna. So how we can receive one day this platform of consciousness, this level of consciousness. So by first of all getting attracted to this goal, second of all getting the association of great souls, receiving guidance and receiving their mercy. And third thing, actually practicing the process and getting the heart cleansed. The more the heart gets cleansed, the more we will become conscious of Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for so beautiful class as always. And you have explained so much about Acharyas. I love the pastime of Gangadhar Bhattacharya, who became Chaitanya Das, and his son is Shivananda Singh. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or realizations to share, please go ahead. In the chat, devotees are thanking you. Yes, iPhone, Prabhu or Mata, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, and
Then,
all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Gauranga. I have one question. To,
yes.
if you tell me the difference between Suddhatma, Suddha Bhagavat and Suddha Bhakt.
Okay, Shuddha Atma, Shuddha Bhagavat, and Shuddha Bhakta.
What's the difference?
Okay, okay. Mataji, as far as my understanding goes, as per my study of scriptures and what I have heard from devotees, so there are actually three different terminologies referring to same category of devotees. So because every Atma originally is a devotee, Jivira Swarupa hai Krishna Nityadas. So if someone is a Shuddha Atma, so that means he's a pure devotee of the Lord. And Bhagavata, Shuddha Bhagavata and Shuddha Bhakta. So I mean these three terms, they are actually referring to pure devotees of the Lord only.
So one in one sloka, it's from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhakto Padajal, Bhakto Renu, Bhakto Uchishta.
Ha,
So
yes,
this is for these categories people we should follow, right?
yes, Mataji.
Not in the Kanishta Madhyam Adhikari,
Yes,
not that
yes.
one.
So
We
basically,
can
yes, Mataji.
respect them,
Yes,
but we can show our Shraddha or respect, but we should follow and for that three things, Bhakta Pado, Bhakta Jal, and Bhakta Jal, Bhakta Renu, and Bhakta Uchishta.
Bhumta Vishesh. Yes,
Remnants, right?
yes.
So
Right.
this we have to follow those kind of categories, Bhakta, right?
Yes, Mataji. So, in Bhagavatam also, first canto, Narad Muni tells his own life story. So there it is mentioned how he took the remnants of Bhakti Vedantas and he also developed the qualities like them. So Prabhupada says that Krishna consciousness is very infectious. So we get infected by the qualities of the person whom we associate with. So now these three things when we say, so Bhakta Pada Dhuli, Bhakta Pada Jala, the dust of the lotus feet of pure devotees, the water which has washed the lotus feet of pure devotees, the remnants of pure devotees. So So Bhakta Bhakta Dhuli, Bhakta Pada Dhuli or Bhakta Pada Jal, Bhakta Bhungta Vishesh are Teen Mahabal. They're the three most powerful substances in the creation. So anybody who's taking these things, that means he's taking a very humble, lowly position. Because generally eating someone's remnants, so it's like nobody does in a civilized society, eating the remnants of other person. So if someone is doing that, that means he is humbling himself. He is keeping himself in an inferior position to that person, to that Vaishnava. So similarly, taking someone's dust or drinking the water which has washed the lotus feet of some Vaishnava. So these all are aspects of humility, humbling ourselves. So when we humble ourselves like this in front of a Vaishnava, so Krishna blesses us with devotion, and Krishna blesses us with the qualities of those Vaishnavas. So because why we want to take these three things of advanced Vaishnavas, because we also want that kind of advanced devotion. We also want that kind of freedom from material contamination. We also want that kind of attraction for Krishna. So that's how. So it should be done for the advanced Vaishnavas, and preferably, so while we are doing it, so we should also be meditative, and we should be prayerful. That my dear Lord, so my dear Vaishnava, please bless me with these wonderful qualities, this eagerness which you have to chant the holy names, which this humility which you have. So please bless me with this humility, with this eagerness to chant the holy names. Please give me taste in Srimad Bhagavatam. So this kind of prayerful mood one can have while offering. So my spiritual master also used to say that this. So one thing is there is a gross conception of this as we discussed. So taking the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava also means, like Prahlad Maharaj also says, Mahiyasam pada rajobhishekam nishkinshana nam pravarnita yavat. So one cannot give up material life, one cannot get rid of material contamination unless one does abhishek, one bathes himself by the dust of the lotus feet of pure devotees. So now, what does that mean? So how can we get so much dust and bathe ourselves? So this actually means taking the dust of the lotus feet of pure devotees means keeping ourselves subservient to the will, to the desire, to the instructions of those pure devotees. So
My understanding, that means they are empowered by God, or
yes.
God, and then when we show our obeisances or humbleness, then we get they can transform their strength through the God to us, right?
Yes, they can bless us, Mataji.
Yes. So we
So when
can
we
be
follow,
little bit, we can be empowered little bit.
yes.
Okay.
Even so, taking the dust physically, this opportunity may not be there for everyone, but
Yes.
definitely opportunity to follow their instructions, opportunity to hear from them. So that is available for everyone. So
Yes.
even like Srila Prabhupada is not there physically with us, but his Vani is still there with us. So if we hear from Prabhupada and follow Prabhupada's instructions, so that is as good as taking the dust of the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. So
Thank you so
I
much,
hope I
Prabhuji.
was able to answer.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Prabhuji, do you have time? We have one more questions. Maybe last question we can take if we have time.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, Adhikari Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, is it me? Hare Krishna,
Mataji.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. At dust of your lotus feet, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, my question was about Khatwang Maharaj. I was just wondering what he did in the last life, because he was so progressive in his path. The way in which he appeared in Bhagavatam, and there are no as such more details about him. And that
Yeah.
was my question. Is it possible for you to enlighten us on that? And thank you so much for a beautiful session, also about the Chetodarpan explanation that you have given. Though we hear everybody, but when we hear from the devotees on the platform and the forum, that's how we, it stuck to our practices. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. So actually, I Maharaj, what I have heard from senior Vaishnavas is that Khatwang Maharaj, the glory of his life was, as we were discussing, that he was a Rajarshi. So he had material competence, at the same time he had a spiritual vision. And although he was taking care of his responsibilities very nicely, he was very expert even in fighting also, in administration also. Yet he never ever compromised on regular cultivation of his devotional service. So he never ever compromised in that aspect. So the lesson which we can learn from Khatwang Maharaj is that while taking care of our duties in this world, so let's not compromise with our duties towards Supreme Lord. So let's compromise internal work, our internal growth, our daily practice of sadhana. So because if we are, consistency is the most important. So in a relationship, consistency is of the most importance. So Krishna also is. So if we are consistently consistent with consistency, if we are trying to practice bhakti, and if we are introspective, so introspection is also another very, very important thing. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says ki every 15 days, probably on every Ekadashi, one can actually do an auditing of his last 15 days. And you can see ki, how did my last 15 days go? So how was my reading and hearing? So how was my consciousness? How was my chanting? And how was my interaction with devotees? So what services I could do for Srila Prabhupada? So what all things I could do? So like, so what has been my state of consciousness with respect to the anarthas? So this kind of auditing when a person does, so Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say this as Atmaninda Paraprashansa. So he would say that one should find fault with oneself and one should glorify others. One should look for good in others. So when we look for good in others, so we develop their qualities. Basically, whatever we find fault with or whatever we appreciate or glorify, our mind gets hooked to that. So if we are finding fault with something, so finding fault with the bad qualities of some person, so that also gets stuck. And then eventually those faults come in us also. Similarly, when we see good qualities in others, so those good qualities also eventually come in us. So, and our acharyas say ki if someone has this tendency of criticism, so one should use that tendency to find fault with oneself. One should see ki what all faults I have, and at the same time, one should also be watchful and conscious of the good qualities of other devotees, the good qualities of great souls. Now, what Krishna is expecting his devotees to be in scriptures like Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So when we know that kind of benchmark, and when we know how much we are lacking also, so then we can take some baby steps to move from our position to that position, that goal. So this is how, if we gradually every day, if we devote our time, if we make conscious, sincere efforts in that direction, so eventually our consciousness and our progress will be quite substantial. Was I able to
Okay,
answer your
Prabhuji.
question?
Prabhuji, what is the crux of being consistent? What if say someone or say I am not consistent, then what advice would you like to give me to become a consistent? Could you please give some strategy?
Yes, Mataji. Like one time I was there in Ujjain temple. So Hiduna Jayato Swami Maharaj had come. So the devotees were asking him question, Maharaj, how to become humble, how to become grateful. So Maharaj said, first answer to all is how to questions is to go and associate with devotees who have this quality. So in response to this answer, how to become consistent, the first and foremost thing is you should look for devotees who have that kind of consistency. So then second thing, if we associate with them, after that, the second thing could be there is something like a group accountability. Group accountability means ki if we are accountable to a group of devotees or some Vaishnavas about our sadhana, our practices, and we share what are we doing, what are we reading, hearing, what are services we are doing. So, and if we can get inputs from them, reflection from them, so, and if we can get guidance from them, feedback from them, so then we are very fortunate. And then that kind of peer sangha can keep us motivated to be consistent. And the third thing, definitely, I would say, hearing Shravanam is of great importance. Shravanam and reading of Srila Prabhupada's books. The more we read, the more we hear. So this spiritual substance, spiritual sound vibration will definitely keep us very inspired. So like in outside circle also, someone is very attracted for some goal, so he automatically keeps himself consistent. He thinks, okay, I have to do this, I have to keep myself consistent. So similarly, if we become, to the degree we become attracted to that goal, how wonderful is that goal which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual master come to give us. If we can get attracted to it, then automatically consistency will follow. So energy flows where the intent goes. Where there is a will, Krishna shows the way. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hari
Prabhuji, and
Bol
eternally
Jai.
grateful to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Prabhuji, to answer my question also. I have also that problem. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. If there are no
Thank
more
you.
further questions, we can end the call, Prabhu, with your permission. Yes, Prabhu. Dear devotee, thank you so much, Prabhuji, once again for your valuable association. We look forward to your association again in the near future. Dear devotees, let us pay obeisances to Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatahu bhaishya kripa sindhu vyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रेष्ठ अपूर्व गोपाल प्रभु की जय। Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Bye bye for
Prabhu.
now.
Thank you.